Happy Friday, everybody. This is 12 Gauge. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. And if it's not your first time and you're visiting again, I hope that wow, my mic is totally blocked out. Let me take that off. Okay, if this is not your first time, I hope that you've enjoyed the channel. I hope that you've found some content on there that you can get behind and that you enjoy. Um, Last night I did a live and I forgot to put in some pics, and it just showed one pic. And I went back and I looked at it today and I was like, oh my god, I forgot to put the rest of the pics. So I went back today and I did some other research on some pictures that are in the neighborhood. So we'll get to that and then we'll talk a little bit more about the Idaho 4. All right, well, get your popcorn, get your snacks. Hope you enjoy the ride. Okay, I thought that I'd do this in the dark or in a darker atmosphere based on some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. Um, I don't know if you guys are very familiar with the Idaho 4 case, but if you are, I don't know if you remember in the very beginning of all the investigation and all the things that were going around the case, they stated that in the PCA that a camera from 500 Queen Road, apartment 52, there was a ring camera. And let me pull that up. That way I can give you some kind of idea of what I'm talking about. Last night I pulled one up, but I don't know if you got the full dynamics of it. Let me see. Let me see which one it is. That way I don't pull up the wrong one. Okay. Okay. First of all, I want to give Gray Hughes Investigates a shout out because this has partially his channel on here. And I don't want to get in trouble for copywriting or plagiarizing or anything else. So, Gray Hughes, here's your shout out, bro. Thank you for the photo. As y'all can tell, what I was talking about, this is 500 Queen Road. This is Queen. This is King. This is King. It's quite confusing, but this is the area that 1122, the house used to stand. This right here is 500 Queen Road. This is where the light bulb cam captured the thud, the dog barking, and the car speeding away. But in the very beginning, they did a piece on News Nation, I believe, and Brian Enton was talking about this ring camera right here. And they even diagrammed it on the screen, and they were talking about how it's able to view certain areas and the width of what it can view. And this is what I was talking about last night. I don't know if you got the gist of it because I just pulled up that one picture with the circle around it, and I saw it this morning. There was no sound, there was no nothing, and I was like, great. Way to go, 12 gauge, way to go. Well, once again, this is 500 Queen Road Apartments right here. This is the road that goes in front of the apartments, which is also Queen Road. This is another apartment building. And supposedly they did some investigating. They did some luminol traces over here in the front of the apartment complex for some reason. I'm sure we'll find out why. But the most important part that I'm trying to bring up tonight is that this cam could have captured a lot more than people even realize. This was the cam, I believe, that Olivia, Kaylee's sister, was able to see her get home and also to be able to see her walking the dog. Hold on a second. I'll pull up that one from last night, see if I can find it. Because in the very beginning, you know, there was so much information coming out. There was so much stuff being discussed, and you couldn't keep up with everything that was being discussed because it was coming so fast. A lot of people had the the scoop on certain things, and they wanted to be the first one to um, report the event. You know, whenever this first kicked off and I was watching, like I said, the situations, many people were not even really reporting on the Ring camera. They were fixated. They're fixated on the round light bulb camera. I can't seem to sign into that right now, so I guess we'll just have to go with what I showed last night. If you want to go check it out, you can see a better shot. Um, I'm also going to show you the front of the house and kind of go into the house and talk a little bit about that. Okay, so here we go. I know a lot of you have been not really into the house, but you've seen a lot of virtual things and whatever. Well, this is almost the image that would be seen, except it'd be a little further down to the west. Okay, you see how close this house is to Xana's room, which is right here. So supposedly this is the camera over here that caught the thud. This wouldn't have been the camera that saw Kaylee, her dog, and Maddie after they got home from the grub truck, putting the dog out. That would have been this camera over here that I'm talking about, the Ring camera. And so many people were talking Ring camera, Ring camera, Ring camera, but they were getting the light bulb camera confused with the Ring camera, the actual Ring camera that goes outside your door. This camera was supposed to have been triggered by a cat relieving itself, and that's what started the camera processing. So I guess the dog going out kind of scared the cat. The cat ran by, triggered the Ring camera, and this is what happened. As far as I know, there's not any cameras on this side of the building. There was supposedly a camera up here in this pole for somebody doing some kind of project, which is the camera that I'm sure to capture the most information that is going to be used against the suspect that's accused of being the perpetrator in this crime. So let's go ahead and go into the house and be kind of patient with me. I haven't really done this a lot, so it'll take me a minute. Okay, so this is going through the front door. This is the bedroom number 1. Okay, once you go into bedroom number 1, we can all remember the policeman standing out here with these blinds open. You could see some golf clubs. You could see this bed was kind of standing up here. You could see the golf clubs around right here. And it would look pretty empty, just like it does now. But I want to show you something. I want to show you the significance of how small. If this was the bed size, this is smaller than a twin-size bed. This is almost like 2 bunk bed size mattresses or something put together. I used to work in a rehab, and they had these with the wooden frames like this so that the people would not hurt themselves with anything associated with the bed. So this bed obviously was not like this on the camera footage, on the police cam. It said this bedroom was vacant at the time of the murders. Let's see what this one says right here. I guess this just takes you out of the room. Okay. So that's the first bedroom. This would be standing right behind the entrance. This is the front door. So at one point, there were photos of things going around, and you could tell this was the bathroom because you could see in there was a shower curtain hanging up. So there's the bathroom. There's some stuff, some coat hangers, and I don't know what this is, but anyways. And then you go over here, and this is the hallway that goes into bedroom 1A, which would be Bethany's room. This is the window right in front that looks out to Queen Road. So from this window, you could see that apartment building that I'm talking about as far as 500 Queen Road, apartment 52. You could see over there from this window. So you look around here, you're standing, this is like a cubby hole under the stairs. I'm sure there was storage or whatever. There's the closet area. Those floors are immaculate if they're real. There's the closet area. I don't know what that is, but okay. Not trying to make y'all dizzy here. Okay. There's the blind. There's another look. You could see, like I was saying, that 500 Queen Road would be right here with the Ring camera. Not saying that it picked up anything on that side of the house, but very well could have been. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is a laundry room. I think I've seen another one that said that was the laundry room where you could actually look in there and there was a washer and a dryer. Let's hear what this says.
November 13, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on the scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. Moscow Police Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene.
Okay, so if you just came into this front door, this is what you would see. And unless any of the perpetrators or the perpetrator came down these stairs and ran out the front door, it'd still be difficult for Bethany to be able to see unless she walked down this hall, was creeping as they ran out, or she saw them out of her window. See, it's still all the way over here. Unless she went into the laundry room and was listening from there, she could possibly have heard some things, or even in her bathroom, because you could hear a lot of stuff going on. And this is the second floor right here. So it's not too far fetched to believe that she would have heard some stuff. This is the window that leads into the living room, and this is one of the windows that on the officer cams, there was always somebody like standing out of this window, like staring outside, or they were looking outside, and this, that, and the other. You know, let me talk about this for a minute before I go on. I was thinking about this earlier, and I'm not trying to speculate here, okay? Because I'm in an empty house and I'm walking you through it, and you've probably seen it a couple hundred times. But I'm giving my commentary, so that's different than speculation. Because as you can imagine, when this was going on, all this was dark except for this sign, okay? If she really wanted to be nosy or investigate, no telling if she came up these stairs and sat right here and listened. She could have been peeking around, seeing if she saw anything. Maybe this is where she saw the intruder run out the back slider, quote unquote, naked or in his skivvies. So this is the hallway that lead to Xana's room. Man, it just puts you right in there. Well, this is a replica of the bed, I guess. Her bed's just a little bigger than the bed downstairs. This says Ethan was found in an unknown position and location in bedroom 2B. Stand here and click. I don't know what the significance of that is, but I guess that's where the blood went out. But look at the wall space. Look, there's still not a lot of room. You know, if you're fighting, which I'm sure these two were, kind of like the others were as well, just isn't a lot of room. Then it was found on the floor in bedroom 2B, right here. There's that apartment building, 500 Queen Road, that would have had direct looking in there. Not saying that it would have been able to see anything, but this is where the light bulb cam would have been. But my point is this: look at this room. It is not big at all. Xana was supposedly found there. Ethan was found on a bed. Bedroom 1B was below, so that's that empty room. And let's hear the affidavit. It says DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated that she was awoken at approximately 4 o'clock a.m. by what she stated sounded like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Goncalves say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Carnoto's phone showed this could also have been Carnoto, as her cell phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM states she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Carnoto's room. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times, starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Carnoto's bedroom. We already know all this. We've read the PCA, we've heard about it. DM said she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5'10" or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked toward the backsliding door. DM locked herself in the room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. So all that was going on in this room. So if Ethan was found in this bed, and this is where the wall or where the blood was going out the wall on the outside, chances are it was his blood or Xana's that was coagulating down through the wall and out that wall. Goodness. I never knew this was here. I thought it was a closet, when many people have said this is a bathroom. And it looks like this house has like speakers or some kind of thing. I don't know what these are, but there was another one down. Oh, that's a light switch. There was another one downstairs. So I guess this is a little closet. No, that's right. Oh, yeah. No. Where the hell am I? Okay, this is outside the door, right? Okay, that's the living room. Man, I'm getting turned around here. So this is the bathroom or the laundry room. This is the laundry room area. People have always said this is the bathroom, but this shows to be the laundry room, and it's huge, which makes a lot of sense. That's right there. So this is the laundry room. The other side is the bathroom. So just to be stated, there could have been some laundry going on. I don't know. It says Anna was found on the floor in bedroom 2B. Speculation that Ethan was found here due to the ambiguous interpretation of the affidavit. So the killer did what he did. It's 417. You hear the thud. You hear him coming out here. She opened the door for the third time. He's already went upstairs. So this is Dylan's room. Man, I don't know why it gives you such a close-up right off the bat. And her room's a little bigger. There's not a bed in here. So she was here peeping. If she was scared, she could have hid in here, shut the door. Who knows? Bedroom 2A, the living room's right out here. That's a big room. I want to see something in a minute, though. There are windows in the back. Okay, so this always puzzled me. Because if you're locking your door and you see him walk out, I don't know about you, but I'm coming to this window. I'm going to turn on my video camera. And I'm going to videotape him driving off, or I'm at least going to video him walking to his car. There's Maddie's bedroom right above this. So she would have heard a lot. You know, I used to live downstairs and you could hear every little footstep somebody makes, no matter how quiet they're trying to be. But I always wondered if there was windows in this room, and this confirms it. There are windows. So she could have saw, she could have videoed, she could have taken photos. And granted, it was nighttime, so chances are this light wasn't on. This light could have been on. But if she was scared, then she would have totally made it pitch black. But she could have got a video camera out and started videotaping it. Supposedly, he came in and went up to the third floor first. So that's one flight of stairs. So that would be how many steps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps down. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 to the top, 8 down. And you ask, why am I counting these steps? Have you ever fell down the steps? If you haven't, then you'll understand why I just counted those steps and why I counted going up the steps. Because if you've ever fallen or tripped on the steps going up, then you understand it. My condo was upstairs at my last place, and it had 11 steps plus a little cement thing at the bottom, so that made it 12, and then you had the grass. So I memorized those steps. So why is that important? Think about if you've never been in this house. It's dark, and I'm sure the dog is barking at this point. You're trying to be quiet. Look at those wooden steps. What kind of shoes would you be wearing? Would you be barefoot? Would you be wearing surgical booties over 2 pairs of socks? And what would you do if it started creaking on your way up? Because he was a big man. You're trying to be quiet. You're carrying God knows what. You can't see because it's dark. This would have been dark. You didn't stub your toe? And then you finally get to the 3rd floor and you're like, oh shit, I finally made it. And there's a window there too. There wasn't any blinds on that window though. So what if that camera in the back was actually pointed in here and caught him walk by either time? This is the bathroom. I had it misconstrued. I thought I had it backwards. See, this is Kaylee's room. So as soon as you come up the stairs, it looks like Maddie's room is right here. And there's the bed. So Madison and Kaylee were found in the bed in this bedroom. Look how little the bed is. There's not a lot of room there. There's no room there against that wall to get out. There's a table. If most of the fighting went down in this room, I think I remember her having like a little table right here or two little tables right here. But the bed was the same. She had a big bed too. So would he have came this way around the bed, taking Maddie out? Kaylee woke up, fought, took her out. She ended up right here, according to her mom. Man, this is heartbreaking. I mean, it's like right, and there's another window, or that's the window that I'll tell you about. And there's the bathroom. And there's another huge window. I don't think this window had a blind on it either. Which I can understand. I used to wake up I had a house with a lot of windows, and I didn't like having the blinds open or closed all the time. So this is the bathroom. Did he come in here and wash off anything? What is that? You pulled out for the toilet to flush, or what is that? The attic? I've never seen that before. There's another one right there. I think that's to turn the vents, but I don't know what this one's for. Anyways, some of the photographs that you can see that they've taken, there's a hole right here or some kind of cutout. So coming out this door, did he brush some blood against this wall? Did he brush himself, heading to the bathroom to clean himself up? And this is Kaylee's room. The dog's in here. She has a big bed too. There's the balcony. Nothing very special, but small access to the door. Oh, it says the roof crawl space access hatch is seen under the window of Kaylee's room. Seen here below the demolition digger's hydraulic arm right here. So what did they say there? Roof crawl space? So I guess you could, in case of a fire or something, you could bust through that and then crawl out. I don't know. But I'm sure there wasn't a lot of evidence in that room. Most of it was in that room, probably in this hallway, down the stairs, along the railing. And coming down the stairs, he wasn't like worried about it. He probably got to this point, went over here, did what he did. We're in the kitchen now. Here's Dylan's room. There's the Leighton shoe print. And I remember seeing a lot of forensic people taking photographs in this window. I don't know if they were dusting for prints. And this is the intruder's entry. It said the male walked toward the backsliding door. DM locked herself in her room. After seeing the male, DM did not state she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. And supposedly she locked the door. But as I just showed you, she had a window to that side. She would have been able to see or capture an image of him coming down King Road right there. I thought that was quite informative. I hope you enjoyed that. There's not a lot that hasn't been talked about. There's not a lot that hasn't been speculated on. Last night I stayed up and watched Melissa Jade channel, her and Shay Benet, and they were going through the leaked text messages from Steve Gonsalves and Brett Norton. And then today, probably about 2:00, I read a community post that another person stated those things were fake. They weren't real. That's why they're not going to comment on it. Well, if you read my community post after that, I kind of gave my little thought on that, which is it's quite annoying, and I'm not saying anything against the person who posted that on her community post or whatever, but you know what? At one point you have to start believing something, because that's all you hear. We want justice, we want justice. But yet everything that is put out there that is not speculatory, that you don't think about, or you're not the one that leaks it to the world, or you're not the one that discusses it, then there's no way that could be real. That's fake. That's debunked. Well, I can tell you that the individual who they were talking about in those messages, I've heard that voice before. I've heard that voice before, and the voice that I heard last night was supposedly the same voice that got on other panels and was talking about, what they saw the next morning and this, that, and the other. Well, this person's name was supposedly Dot. I don't know if they're real. I don't know if they're this, that, and the other. But I've heard this person talk like she talked last night. And my whole point is this: why would you come back on a year later if you're not real? If she gave the story that she was used to give that information because somebody was scared for their safety, so she used her own variation to get the point out. Quote unquote, she said she didn't care if people, found out who she was, what they said about her, this, that, and the other. Which, to his own. My emotions when, like, I just walked through that house, it gave me a different feel than I've ever had before. Talking about this, you can talk about this happened, that happened at this time, But you know what? Walking through that tour and knowing what you know as far as the visual that you have in your head, you can hear it, you can see it, you can understand what happened that night. All you have to do is just close your eyes and imagine what you know, not what you feel. Because if you're going on feelings, your feelings will deceive you because you will go on what you think is correct rather than what you know that you've read, what you know that is real. The true crime community is really an interesting place. There's some very good people in there. There's some great people that do a lot of great work. There's some smart people. There's some people that have some great ability to break down information, things of that nature. But just as soon as you get that greatness and that good solidness, then you have the people that appear like their lives are not very genuine or reality based, and the only way that they get any kind of happiness is to tear down other people or to try to be the first one to have this, that, and the other. Like, I hate to say it like this, but we're all years behind what the FBI and the police have. They have way more information than we will ever be privileged to until the trial comes to fruition. You know, there's some creators that have gone to deep end. I mean, they've started with some theories, and it's almost like they're obsessed with the theory. So you just see their incorporation down the rabbit hole, and that rabbit hole deep a lot of times. And most of the times you can't even understand it. Like, I was watching this TikToker the other day, and she posted something about a Venmo, and that's all they kept showing was the Venmo from these two people, and then pictures in the background with a song playing. And I was like, well, what does this mean? Because if you can't be clear on what you're trying to present, then it's just. And there was other people asking too, well, what the fuck am I looking at? Excuse my language, but really, what am I looking at? And then they tell you, and then you're like, oh, I see it. I see it. No, you don't. You see what somebody told you to see. It reminds me of the early days of chat. Whenever you'd go into a chat room in Yahoo, I don't know if you ever did that, but I used to go into the chat room just for humor, right? And you'd go into a chat room and you'd get to change who you were, play a role, give yourself a different name, give yourself a different life, give yourself anything that you wanted, that you hated about yourself, and you got to change it based on your perception of what you wanted to be. And I think sometimes people are so intrigued by how people interact with them on here that they get caught up in the limelight of being the one. See, I haven't gotten caught up in all that because you know what? I'm the one in my real life. I'm the one going to school for criminal justice. I'm the one in my department in which I work. I'm the one who does classes, who does individuals, who transport children to detention. I'm the one who really is living the life, and I'm happy with it. I suggest that if your one has gotten blurred or your line has gotten blurred, that you find a way back to reality so that you don't get caught up in this world and then one day you have a rude awakening because you don't have any more dope to get high on. You know, they say how the good people become bad people. Well, you know what? You get so enmeshed in evil that you lose yourself. I've seen people fighting in the chat rooms about nothing, calling each other names and calling each other bees and hoes and, all this stuff. And they probably don't even know each other. You get so caught up in the negativity of the true crime world that you lose yourself. You lose what your morals and values are, and you start to take on the perceived killers. Because I can almost understand, based on how people talk, most of them are more intrigued on what the killer did than the victims that were murdered. They're intrigued by somebody could murder 4 people. They'll never tell you that, and they'll never say I'm a groupie. But yeah, how often do you hear creators talk about the victims? How often? I talk about both, even though I don't break it down because I don't know enough about the 4, just based on the social media platforms. But I try to break down the mentality, the thought process, the variations of drug addiction and everything, and how it could correlate to an individual becoming who they became. I'm not glorifying him or anybody else or whoever did the crime. It's sick, it's twisted, and it was heinous. And there's no way that this individual should have that kind of glorification. For the people that believe he was framed or that he's not guilty, then tell us who did it specifically. Because that's what you need in order to change Thompson's mind, the defense attorney's mind. You want to change somebody's mind about Koberger not being the one and, he's just a fall boy or he's a scapegoat or this or that and the other. Then give solid proof on the other theory that you have about who did it. And come with something strong other than there was a fight and there was a fight club and there was this and there was that and they got jumped and this and that and the other. How did the knife sheath get under Matty then if he didn't do it? How did his DNA get on the knife sheath? Where's the knife? What's the motive of somebody else doing it? I could see the motive that many have planted about the frats, but I don't believe that people, no matter how rageful or angry they would be, they would go and kill somebody who was in their frat and her girlfriend just because they were jealous or on roid rage. That makes sense to people who don't understand reality. They just based all their opinions on TV shows and crime shows. This isn't a show. This is real life where people were taking pictures, dusting for prints, trying to get DNA. And who knows, they may have found everything they needed that first couple of days and video surveillance. You never know. They might have a video that shows whoever did it going in and out of the home, getting in their car, speeding away without a reasonable doubt. Because if there was somebody else that did it, don't you think they would have killed by now again? Because guilt will eat you up. And I don't care how good you are at hiding things. Imagine killing 4 people you knew, according to y'all's theories. Killing 4 people that you knew and go in, day out, knowing that you killed somebody and that you can't tell anybody, and the guilt and the shame and the depression, the anxiety, the stress of when are they going to find me? When is somebody going to tell? When are they going to talk? You'd have your breaking point by now. You'd hear about some other killings by now in the same fashion. But there hasn't been any. As they say, that whole town went silent after the gag order was put in place. Why is that? You can't keep a secret between 2 people. How can you have kept all this under wrap for so long without somebody slipping and saying, that's not the person, this is who did it? You know why? Because that is the person. I hate to break it to you, but the more that I investigate on this and I use my critical thinking, that is the person. I still haven't figured out the motive or the intent, but his blueprint is there. And it has nothing to do with me speculating about any of him at the pool party, him at this, this and that and the other, and him being a teaching assistant and all that. That is just insinuating circumstances that were a part of his life. Like I said last night in my video, in order to catch a killer, sometimes you got to think like a killer. And I've never been a killer in my life, but I was looking over the questionnaire on Reddit today again. And it was written specifically to understand the mindset of a killer. No other reason. To feel that emotional attachment to how did it feel when you killed somebody? Were you happy? Were you sad? Were you this? Were you that? Think of the sick people that answered those questionnaires. Maybe that's what was found in some of his writings or some of his journals. Where's his manifesto? Because nowadays people want credit for what they've done. They're going to write a manifesto. They're going to tell you, hey, I did what I did because this happened, that happened when I was young, and this happened. I never got enough this, never got enough that. Yes, I did it. Here you go. He looks too happy to me. He looks free. And for someone who looks free while they're incarcerated, that tells you that they don't know how to live life on the outside. I've told you he was a chameleon because of his drug addiction. Chameleon, to be a certain way, to act a certain way, to talk a certain way. But once you can't be a chameleon anymore and you're stripped of that ability to fake it, then you start unraveling if you don't know how to live life on life's terms. And before you know it, one fateful night, you change your life forever. Read about some of the other killers, some of the other serial killers. Don't just be one-dimensional about Mr. Koberger. You don't believe people do certain things? Look at the Gainesville Ripper. Him and Koberger are a lot alike. Elliot Rodger, John Wayne Gacy, the notorious Ted Bundy. A lot of them said, "Why?" They were asked, "Why'd you do it?" Because I loved it. I loved how it felt. I loved the thrill. I understand you guys get on here to relax, to get away. But find yourself a healthier hobby once you get through with this to recharge. Because otherwise, you're going to keep diving into the abyss and there's not going to be a way out. Do you find yourself cranky nowadays for no reason? Edgy? Not sleeping well? Snapping at loved ones? Being upset when you can't catch your favorite creator live, or trying to stay up to watch somebody who you respect their thoughts and you miss it and you get upset and you're mad and it ruins your day? Well, let me tell you, you've created an addictive mindset over YouTube and you need some help. Unplug. Well, I've given you my insight tonight. I've given you some thoughts. I've given you some coping skills. I hope you've enjoyed this part 2. This is what last night's was supposed to be about, but for some reason, it didn't turn out this way. I might try to go live on Sunday if you guys want to try and make it. That'd be cool. Let's see if we can get some chat going on and introduce ourselves to each other. Thank you for the comments. I love reading the comments. You guys are very analytical. I like that. There's no wrong answers, so feel free to comment away. No disrespect by the other commenters, we're all adults. We can read something and not agree with it and still keep going. There's my number one fan. He waited till the end to say goodbye. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. 12 gauge out.